I need to speak about this. And plus, I'm late like normal. I'm on CP time, people. Always. I said 8:30. What is it? 8:39. It's all right. I'm still here. Okay. All right. So once again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amber Nicole. I am a confidence and mindset life coach. I help empower women who's dealt with trauma, traumatic past, sexual abuse, any type of abuse that they dealt with. I help them get over that and not only just survive, but learn how to thrive. So that is what I do. And I do that through my business, Justice by Amber Nicole. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So my topic tonight, as you can see, like I said, is called sex and trauma. So it's really what I'm talking about is really about sexual abuse, how sexual abuse shows up in adulthood. So meaning things that happen in your life, being molested or raped as a child, how does it show up for you once you become an adult? Because some people feel like maybe it doesn't affect them anymore, but it does. And the reason why I know is because I've been there. If you've seen me, anytime you've seen me, I talk about this. This is my story. I tell my testimony all the time. So if you've seen me, if you watch any of my live videos or watching me on YouTube or anything like that, you've seen me discuss and talk about the sexual abuse and molestation that I dealt with as a child from the ages of 10 to 11, and how I became pregnant at 11 years old and had my first child at 12 years old. So I'm not shy or shameful or anything about any of my experiences that I dealt with. I'm very transparent. I'm very open. I'm very honest. So if you don't want to deal with someone who's very open, very honest, and has real conversations, because I definitely keep it real, then you definitely don't want to listen to me, and I'm not the one for you. But if you're looking for someone who's going to be open, transparent, and honest, and really has those real deep, hard conversations that a lot of people don't like to have, I'm your girl. That's me. I'm that one that's going to be having those difficult conversations. Majority of the people that talk usually talk, everybody that usually has conversations and communications now, hey, Ashley, a lot of them want to talk about funny stuff. They want to keep it light and keep it simple, but it's not the funny stuff that's keeping us in having mental illness or depression, or a lot of the struggles that we struggle with as adults, the lack of self-worth, the lack of confidence. It isn't the funny stuff that does that. It's the trauma that we deal with. It's growing up in single parent households and your mama working all the time. It's growing up in the hood. It's not having guidance. It's a lot of the stuff that we dealt with in our childhood that formed and shaped and molded who we are today, which is why I talk about this, because a lot of people don't like to share the things that they've dealt with as a child that shaped who they are today. So I talk about exactly who I am as a child. Hey, Chris, I talk about what I've dealt with as a child, because it's important to know that a lot of the things that we dealt with from childhood is why we are the adults we are today. Why some of us as adults aren't trusting. Why some of us as adults suck or don't like people, don't want to deal with people. Why we deal with depression, mental illness, lack of self-worth. Like I said, it's because of the things that we dealt with in our childhood that we did not get proper healing from, that we just suppressed and just moved on with it, and we didn't learn from that. So Amber comes in and she says, listen, you've dealt with these things. You struggle with these things. These things are showing up in your life today, which is why you can't have a job. Why are you on the job and having an attitude with everybody else? But your real attitude is the fact that you didn't get over things in your past, and they're still showing up for you every single day now. So I come in and I help you and I coach you and that type of thing. All right. So let me just jump into it. Let me get into the topic. Also, anyone that has questions why I'm talking, they either have questions about me, things that I've dealt with, or have questions of maybe some things that you struggle with, go ahead and post it in there. Ask me about it, and I'll make sure I'll have no problem with answering any questions. If you don't want to post in here, then you can hit me in my DM, and I have no problem with answering questions. So I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm just gonna tell you briefly a little bit about my story, which, like I said, a lot of you have heard about me or what I've dealt with if you watched me for a long period of time. But the people have not watched me or have not listened to me speak. Then I'm gonna speak and tell you a little bit about my story. So I said it a little bit ago, but I don't know if anyone's listening. I am Amber Nicole. I dealt with sexual abuse and being molested from the age of 10 to 12 years old. From that, I was pregnant at 11. I had my daughter at 12. So I had my very first child at 12 years old. She's 23 years old now. So I dealt with sexual abuse, and I dealt with the effects of it. I didn't know how it affected me until I became an adult. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about tonight. So really tonight is going to be more about like the statistics and things that children deal with, not as children, but once you become an adult, how sexual abuse, how it shows up in your life in adulthood. So I have 5 different things that I'm going to talk to you about, 5 ways that it shows up in your life as an adulthood. Anyone that's watching me, like I said, if you have questions, please feel free to ask the questions on here, and I'm going to make sure that I do my best in making sure that I spread awareness to this situation, because this is one of the topics that a lot of people don't like to talk about. No one wants to talk about sex for real, and no one wants to talk about trauma. Let me scratch that. They'll talk about sex as in I'm having sex with my boyfriend and girlfriend, that type of thing. But when I'm talking about it is the negative side of it, because there is some negative sides of it. I'm talking about people who deal with trauma and abuse and those type of things. I deal with those heavy topics that a lot of people like to shy away from. I'm diving right into them, because when I take care of my community and make sure you guys know that your mental health and your self-worth matters, and these are some things that can help you, then I'm doing my part. All right. So I'm going to get straight into it. So I'm going to start with number 1. So as a child who has been sexually abused, they are affected, and it does affect you if you don't get the help and the healing. Let me put that out there, which a lot of times people don't get the help and healing. I didn't get the help and the healing. I got the sweep it underneath the rug. Okay, he's in jail. He's in prison. I don't have to deal with it anymore. Until I became an adult and I really seen how it really was showing up in my life, not having therapy and not having someone come in and help me and speak to me about it. It was just, the situation is done. I'm not dealing with no more. It's over. So I'm going to start with number 1. So the number 1 thing that adults deal with is having a negative world view of people. So a lot of times when I say so much, I'm sorry, guys. A lot of times that what we deal with is people who dealt with sexual abuse they were not trusting people, seeing people in more of a negative way. Everybody isn't good. He's not good. What is he doing? What does he want? What does she want? I was like this. I dealt with this. I was always thinking of, what do they want out of me? They must want something. Seeing things in a negative world view of people. Instead of seeing people in a good way, I was seeing people in a bad way, because this one person hurt me. So now everybody else was kind of paying the price for what he did. So a lot of times when you see that, it's like, he didn't do that. They didn't do it to you, but now I don't trust you. What you want from me? Anybody. It didn't matter what they did. It could be a nice person coming up and saying something nice to me, but I'm like, why are you saying something nice to me? You must want something from me. Like, everybody wanted something or needed something, or no one was just being nice and just friendly just for the sake of who they were. But that's because of my negative perception of the traumatic situation that I dealt with. Number 2, the second thing that sexually abused children deal with as adults is having a negative self-worth and confidence in themselves. When I tell you, this one right here hit me hard. And it was crazy. And a lot of people said it was crazy that I dealt with that, because it was like, you're a beautiful girl. You had people telling you were pretty all the time. I had people trying to talk to me all the time, but that didn't mean nothing. Me being pretty didn't change how I felt on the inside. On the inside of me, I felt like I was nothing. On the inside of me, I felt like I didn't deserve good. On the inside of me, my self-worth, how I felt about myself, it didn't matter how anybody else viewed me. It was how I viewed myself. I didn't have confidence in me. I didn't love me. I didn't know what I deserved, which in turn, because of that very thing, I dealt with the man for 10 years, a decade. Listen, I dealt with a man for a decade that was a narcissist. He was mentally abusive. He was physically abusive. And I was okay with it. I pretty much was like, this is all I'm going to get. This is as good as I can get. I'm not going to get any better. So I'm just going to deal with him and just be okay with it, because of my lack of self-worth and what I believed I deserved as myself, stemming from being an abused sexually and not healing and getting the proper therapy that I needed from that. Um, Number 3 is remembering abuse through bodily sensations. So this one was a big one for me and some other people, that I've talked to. Remember, that's when you become an adult, obviously you have sexual encounters. You have sex with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it has, you have sex with them. But when you think about when you having sex with this person, and having sex with them triggers you and takes you back, because now you start thinking about what happened, how I felt when I was 10 and when I was 11. It's like, oh, I don't want that feeling no more. So then you shy away from it. I don't want to have sex, because when I have sex, it makes me feel like that 10 or 11-year-old that I was when I was being abused, and I don't want that feeling. I don't want to go back to that. So I didn't do it. I shied away from it. So a lot of times that's what they do. They sexually abuse children. Once they become adult, they shy away from sex. Or on the flip side of that, or they become very promiscuous. They have sex with everybody. I have sex with him, her, him. I'm getting trains ran on me and everything else. A lot of times girls who go through that, who's very promiscuous, usually it's because they were abused sexually, and they have a very unhealthy view of what it looks like to have a healthy sexual relationship with your spouse. So they're having sex with everybody on the block, their friends, their brothers, and their cousins, because they think that that's exactly what you're supposed to do, because sex is nothing, because they weren't taught as kids that this is sacred. This is something that you need to make sure you do with only certain people. So I'm having sex with the whole world. Those women, when you see them, you talk about them, you say, oh, she a hoe. Oh, she been around the block. Oh, she done slept with my mans and the whole football team, or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably need to think about some of the things that she dealt with in her past and what made her be that way, because no one just wakes up and being a teenager and all of a sudden they just want to be a hoe, and they just all of a sudden want to have sex with everybody. Everyone does things for a reason. So it must be something in her past that she dealt with that makes her that way. So the next time that you guys dealing with someone who may be very promiscuous, you might want to take them to the side and ask them what's going on in their life and help them instead of judging them, because they probably dealt with some unhealed trauma and now they don't have anyone else to turn to. So they turn to men for sex. I've seen it so many times. I've had so many clients that I've dealt with that are promiscuous or were promiscuous, and now they're trying to change, but it's hard for them because everyone sees them in a negative view because of who they used to be. And now they're trying to change and be better, but they always just the one that slept with everyone. And so I'm going to ask you guys to not judge people, because everyone has a past and everyone dealt with something in their lives. Did I say number 2 or that was number 3? Yeah, that's number 3, I think. Number 4 is acting unconsciously in buried abuse. So basically what this means is children who are sexually abused lack the mental tools to necessarily label properly and express their experience of abuse. So what this means is that a lot of times that children who are abused or sexually abused, what they tend to do is suppress. They don't tell anybody. They keep it to themselves. And with suppression, when I suppressed, I'm just going to tell you guys what I've dealt with. When I suppressed it, it disconnected me from the situation. So because I was disconnected from that situation, it was almost as if it didn't happen. If I didn't have my baby girl, I wouldn't even think about that situation occurring. But because I seen her all the time, I had to know she does have a father and she was born out of this situation. But if I didn't think about that, then I would have disconnected from it. I don't want to think about the fact that I was abused as a child. I don't want to think about the experience that occurred to me at that time. Now I'm at the point where I can talk about it. I can think about it. But there was a point in time where I couldn't even say anything about it without wanting to cry a little bit. But even then, I would suppress it. I'm not a big emotional person. I don't cry that much unless it's something that really, really hurts me. But other than that, I don't cry that much. I'm not super emotional. I'm pretty sane and pretty level-headed when it comes to my emotions. But when it came to being a sexually abused child and becoming an adult, I cut that off and I didn't think about it anymore. Hey, D. So that's another thing that, you deal with as a sexually abused. Sorry, my live is acting weird. Can you guys still see me? Hopefully you guys can still see me. My live is being weird. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna keep on talking, and if you guys can't see me, I guess I'll figure it out once the live is finished. But the fifth thing, I'm just gonna go there. Thank you. I'm glad you guys see me. Okay, the fifth thing that we deal with as molested children who dealt with. I keep saying we. I mean, I'm part of that, but I want to speak about everybody as well, not just my own personal experience. But the last and final thing, fifth thing that children that were sexually abused that they deal with is they either shy away from. Oh no, I'm sorry, I said that one already. Oh, they become very shy, like they don't want to talk, they don't want to deal with people when they're out about and in like environments around people. They don't want to say anything. That was me. I was the shy girl. Now I'm an introvert. I'm introverted by nature. That's how God made me. But that situation made me being introverted times 10. So I really didn't talk. When I tell you I really didn't talk, I could sit in a room full of people for 2 hours straight and not say a word. And it didn't bug me. And if no one said nothing to me, I never said anything to them, and I was fine because I didn't feel like anybody wanted to hear me. I didn't feel like I could talk. I didn't feel like anything that came out of my mouth was even worth listening to. That's how I felt. Nothing I say right now is really worth listening to. That is what it happens when you are sexually abused, when you deal with and shy already by nature. On top of that, it increased. But today, the woman I am, I'm not shy. I'm still an introvert. I'm going to be there for the rest of my life because that's how God made me. But I'm not shy. I speak. I hold my own. I stay on top of what needs to be stayed on. I hold people accountable. I make sure I speak my mind. I don't hold nothing back, but because that is what I had to do. But it took me to gain the healing from being that sexually abused child to the adult that I am today. And I didn't receive that healing until I became an adult. And I went and did that on my own because I realized how my past and my childhood was still affecting me and who I was today. Once I got the healing that I needed, I became who I am today. So now when you see me today, anybody that follows me knows that I am the confident woman I am. I'm speaking, I'm helping, I'm pouring into women who's dealt with these situations. I'm making sure that I help every single woman who has struggled in their life because I know how it feels to not be heard. I know how it feels to be abused. I know how it feels to not have confidence and have a broken mindset. I know how that feels. So since I know how it feels, it is my job to make sure that I help everyone be better for themselves because I know how it feels not to have that. And so that's what my job is. And that's what I'm here for. And I just wanted to talk about this subject and this topic because it's a topic that most people don't talk about. We don't talk about, the mental illness that much. We don't talk about, children that were sexually abused and how it affects them once they become adults. We don't talk about what adults look like today. Why are you the way you are? Why are you crazy? We talk about them. We judge them and say, oh, he crazy. Oh, she crazy. Oh, she a hoe. Oh, she this. Oh, he that. But we don't think about why are they that way? What shaped them? What did they do within their childhood that made them that way? So I'm just going to talk to you guys and just challenge you that before you start judging people for who they are and how they do things, I'm going to tell you that you've dealt with some things yourself. So you might want to take a look in the mirror and maybe deal with yourself first. And then you also may want to think about what did they do within their childhood to make them that way before you start judging them. I'm very serious about judgmental people and people being judged for the things that they've done. So that's just going on a tangent. That's so off topic what I was talking about. But like I said, I just want to get on here and just talk to you guys and just share with you, a subject that most people would shy away from. People don't want to talk about sex and trauma and mental illness. They rather be funny and laugh and kiki. But there is real serious situations that people dealt with in their lives. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind closed doors that no one's talking about. And you guys need to start opening up your mouth and start talking and start seeking therapy, getting life coaching, and getting the help that you need, because God didn't put us on this earth to be sad and busted and disgusted and judging people and all that. He put us on the earth to be great and amazing, and for us to have solidarity and come together and be amazing together. So I'm asking you guys to make sure that you look at your brother or you look at your sister. I'm not saying physically your brother and sister, but I'm saying you look at them and you say, what's your problem? What do you need help with? I got you. And you reach your hand out and you help them before you start judging them. I'm getting a little preachy, y'all. I'm getting a little preachy. But yeah, so I talked about what I had to talk about. Is there anybody on here before I hop off that want to ask any questions that you may have? Any questions for me? Any questions that maybe they be dealing with something that they need help with? Is there anything that anybody want to say? Before I get off, I just want to let you guys know that if you need, everyone needs coaching. Everyone needs something. I have a coach myself. I think we all need coaching because we all want to get to new levels in life and we all want to be better. So that's what I'm here for. I coach and I also help other people too. So if you want to reach out to me, please make sure that you log into my, not log on to, but go into my website, ambernicolespeaks.com. Once this live is over, I'll go ahead and put that on there. Actually, can I type it in here? I think I could type it. Let me see. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Let me see. Can I type it? Okay, maybe not. All right. I can't type it in there. So since I can't type it, maybe I can. Hold on. Oh yeah, I can type it. So I'm going to type it really quick what my website is so that you guys can reach out to me, book a complimentary consultation with me and get the help that you need, because we all need help. I need help. Y'all need help. We all need help. We need to help each other. Question: if you're not going to help them, don't speak on them. Exactly, Ashley. Exactly. If you're not going to help them, if you're not going to reach your hand out and say, "Hey, what do you need help with?" then keep your mouth shut. Because at the end of the day, we done all dealt with something. I don't know no person that walks this earth right now that ain't dealt with something. I don't care what that is. Whether that be you broke. You living in low income housing, you got food stamps, you dealt with abuse, you dealt with abusive parent, you stayed in a relationship that you shouldn't stayed in for long, whatever it is, drug dealer, whatever, drug addict, everybody done dealt with something. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying we've all been through something. We done all dealt with something. I don't know nobody that walks on this earth that was perfect besides Jesus. Besides that, I don't know nobody else that walked this earth. So before you guys start talking and judging people, like, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, well, why the hell am I talking about them? Because I deal with this, or I used to deal with that. All right. Is there anybody that have any questions that you want to ask me before I hop off? Anything? Oh, my shirt. So y'all see my shirt? It says, pray now, be blessed later. So I made this shirt. I'm still trying to work on it though, because it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I'm trying to make this shirt perfect so I can start selling this one. So eventually I'm going to be selling this shirt. Pray now, be blessed later. So I will let you guys know once I get this, once I'm finished and I have this down to perfection the way I want it to look like. And I'll have that on my website, and I'll also I'll put it up there as well. Oh, thank you, Ashley. It probably do look good from far. To me, it don't look, but thank you. I'm so critical of my own self. So, alrighty. Well, if no one else has any questions for me, then I'm gonna hop off. I want you guys to enjoy your Friday. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I always got wine. And you need a little wine too while you're getting your coaching and your therapy. Bring some wine because it's going to get heavy. Okay, guys, you enjoy the rest of your Friday. I hope that I am continuing to help empower all of you kings and queens. Cheers, girl. Because that's what I'm here to do. Empower all y'all. I love seeing black people doing stuff. I love seeing this thriving and healing and getting to being our best selves. Like that right there, that fills my heart. That makes me happy. So you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Mwah. Good night.